I was offered $5,000 for a video, but this was when I was like 19. I was like, double it, and I'll walk outside and I'll give it to a homeless person. And they're like, no, you won't. And I was like, double it. And I was like pacing around my neighborhood for 3 hours convincing this guy, like on the phone, just double the money. I promise the video will go viral and I'll give it to homeless person. I was like, $10,000 just looks better in a title. It'll get more views. I promise your app will do better.
A lot of times people, oh boy, it's like they think their videos are better than they are, honestly. And that
tell them, Jimmy, tell them.
I mean, they do that, and they have horrible friend groups because you really are like the type of YouTubers you hang around. It's getting people with the right YouTuber friend group that aren't pussies and will actually tell them when their content's bad and like actually roast it and help them get better. And then I
Skype every morning, and like some days like I'd get on Skype at 7 a.m. and I'd be in the call until like 10 p.m. and then I'd go to bed. I'd wake up and I'd do it again. We'd do things like take 1,000 thumbnails and see if like there's a correlation to the brightness of the thumbnail to how many views it got. Imagine a world where it's just you working solo and you work 12 hours a day every day for like a year. And you're just grinding, you make a mistake, you learn from it, you grind, you make a mistake, you learn from it, and you do that for like a year. And then imagine a different world where you have 4 friends who are also equally grinding in something similar. Friend number 1 makes a mistake on Friday, he teaches the other 4 people. Friend number 2 makes a mistake the next week, teaches everyone. And then like you're all learning from each other's mistakes. You're all constantly studying 24/7 and downloading each other. Like after a year, you're like 2 years ahead of the guy who was just solo.
Do you frequently go that far out of your way to capture the thumbnail?
Yeah, I mean, of course, everyone should. If people don't click, they don't watch. So you want to give them something to click. Something a lot of people forget is like unsuggested on phones, thumbnails are really fucking small. So like people are editing thumbnails full blown on their computer. And when you shrink it down, you can't see.
We try to all around be above the rest. Anyone can clickbait, but do you actually like deliver on it? We say we put 100 million Orbeez in the backyard, we put 100 million Orbeez in the backyard. Your title and thumbnail set expectations. Like what you're saying is like, I like bananas. And what you need is bananas are the best goddamn food on the planet. Like that's the type of opinion you need. Like you need something like how to get 100 million views on YouTube, or not even that, that's not strong enough. You need something that makes people go, what the fuck? What the fuck did he say in that video? What the fuck? I need to know. At the very beginning of the video, to minimize drop-off, you want to assure them that those expectations are being met.
If you're putting 1 million Orbeez in a pool, don't start the video with you shopping for, you know, your mom's birthday present. At the beginning of the video, just say,
this is 100 million Orbeez. We're gonna fill this pool and this entire backyard with them. Match the expectations, and then you want to exceed them. So you want to assure people that what they clicked on is what they're getting, and then blow their mind and be like, but you're also getting even more. Anytime you say the word algorithm, just replace it with audience. The algorithm didn't like that video? No, the audience didn't like that video. If I wasn't retaining a viewer, just would it make sense for you to promote it? Why would you promote a 10-minute video that people watch on average a minute and a half?
I mean, every video, even the stupid ones, I learned something, you know, and that's something I try to make a very big point of, is like, no matter how bad we mess up, like we sometimes have videos that have horrible retention. It's just like, as long as you learn from it, it's not the end of the world.
Every YouTuber says it. It's like, no one will ever be able to replicate my style. I gotta edit it. But newsflash, someone can. It's actually not as difficult as you think.
It was good that I got a really strong foundation on how YouTube works and how the style of videos I wanted and everything before I scaled up the team, if that makes any sense. I just want to make sure that's clear, because I've seen people try to build the team without foundation and knowing how to do well. I know that if we film this video, it will do well, just because I've spent a decade of my life hyper obsessing over YouTube and I have a good pulse on it. But if you didn't have that, then you wouldn't know. Like you wouldn't be able to spend $4 million on a Squid Game, because you might lose $2 million and then you can't pay your people. But of course, yeah, if I didn't have these people, I couldn't do half the stuff I do.
For the last like 8 or 9 years, like every dollar I've made, I just spent it the next month on content. And I just did that every single month, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and here we are.
Since I was 13, there probably hasn't been a single hour that's gone by that I've been awake where I haven't thought about YouTube. Like,
I'm just focused on making the best videos possible, period. I don't care about making money. I don't care about time. I don't care about anything. I just want to make the best videos on the planet.
Literally all the algorithm does is reflect what the people want to a T. And if you deny that, you just make terrible videos and are trying to find a scapegoat.
We do our videos in other languages as well. If you 60 split.
People think just because you go for views means you can't have fun, but you can pull views and you can have fun, which is what we purposely try to do.
if you're not doing something that's just inherently fun to you, you're just quit. Just give up. Like, you gotta at least semi-enjoy what you're doing, or you're gonna quit long before it gets to the point where it brings in money or whatever else could be driving you. So find what you love, and then I would just hyper obsessed. Make sure no one doing what you're doing is doing it better. Make sure the videos are as good as possible.
You can be motivated by more than one thing. I'm motivated because I want to support my mom and my family. I'm motivated because I want to employ my friends and help them. I'm motivated because I want to help other people. I'm motivated because I want to be a YouTuber. I feel like that's another misconception. You can have lots of things that drive you. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there's just tons of stuff that drive me. And everything drives me to wanting to be a YouTuber, so I kind of obsess over it.
For the people that are willing to be coachable, I would say like just education. Like there is a lot of misinformation out there that like people like live and breathe by, like the weirdest stuff. I gotta upload at midnight on Wednesdays or my videos don't do well. It's like just dumb stuff like that just, they don't realize how badly they're like handicapping themselves.
Some minor tips I could give is like if somehow you could have a payoff at the end, then more people are gonna watch to the end just to see what happened.
Whichever one of these 456 people survives the longest wins 456 grand.
Cut out all dull moments, try not to over-explain things. If a camera just sits on me and I'm just talking for 20 seconds, it doesn't hold retention as well as, maybe me talking and other footage popping up.
It's much easier to get 5 million views on one video than 50,000 views on 100 videos. It takes way less effort to get 5 million views on one video.
Back then, which I think small YouTubers should do, is I would reply to every single comment. And so I think a few people caught on that I would always reply. And so some people would just be like, I wonder how long it'll take for him to reply. So that was a lot of my comments when I was smaller, but at least it kept him coming back.
In your analytics, and most of you probably know this, audience retention. You can see where people click off. Just literally go through your last 50 videos, write down where everyone clicked off, and then just don't do those things again.
Just fail. A lot of people get analysis paralysis.
There's no such thing as a perfect video. Like someone should always call you and it on your video because it could be better.
When I was a young teenager, I was getting no views, had no money, had no equipment.
Imagine spending 10 years of your life only thinking about one thing every waking hour of the day.
You could upload one great video a year and get more views than if you uploaded 100 mediocre videos.
I put together the best Mr. Beast advice on YouTube. I know it's helped me, so it has the potential to help others in their lives or careers. I also design merch and thumbnails. You can check out my store or email me about work. Thank you for your time.
Actually, as an answer to what is the best advice someone ever gave you, you said, you're crazy until you're successful, then you're a genius.
100%. All along the way, people gave me so much advice on why I shouldn't be doing it, why I'm crazy. Yeah. Every step of the way, people wanted to tell me why I shouldn't be doing this and should get a life, should stop being too obsessed, everything under the book. And then once I'm successful, those same people are like, dang, you're a genius. Yeah. Wow, you really pulled that off.
I just watch it, honestly, and I just like, if there's ever a moment where I'm even slightly bored, I'm like, cut it. And if there's something where I'm not just like, wow, like the whole time, then it's like, don't upload it. It's not good.
If I'm not creating, then I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel like I'm progressing. Then I feel like I'm wasting my time. My well of knowledge needs to constantly be expanding so I have more things to draw inspiration from our ideas. If not, you're gonna get the same ideas over and over again. So it happens for a lot of creators. That's why their videos are repetitive and always the same thing, because if you're not constantly learning new things, then your ideas are just limited to what's in your head and eventually you're gonna drain it. It's a lot of testing. So we usually edit a video like 5 or 7 times.
What would you say to creators that are getting started? I mean, do you think that it's still possible to start a channel on YouTube in 2020 and be successful, or is it...
It's funny you saying that to me because I know you know the answer to it. Yes, it's obviously, it is. And the thing is, though, with the videos I was making when I was a smaller creator, I genuinely felt like, the algorithm hates me or this is unfair. But I just wasn't making content that deserved to get views. I don't know a nice way to put it. So I'm glad I'm talking about myself, because anyone else I'd feel bad. But the videos sucked. Like, I mean, you just look at the retention graphs. People would click off at the beginning. People didn't know sometimes what they're clicking on. And like, if I wasn't retaining a viewer, just why would it make sense for you to promote it? Like, why would you promote a 10-minute video that people watch on average a minute and a half? It just doesn't make sense.
But if I don't have what I have in my head, then I would say just fail. Like, just a lot of people get analysis paralysis and they'll just sit there and they'll plan their first video for 3 months. And I'm any of you listening, if you, especially if you have 0 videos on your channel, your first video is not going to get views. Period. It's not. Your first 10 are not going to get views. I can very confidently say that. So stop sitting there and thinking for months and months on end, and just get to work and start uploading. Like, all you need to do, this applies to people who have not uploaded videos but have dreams of being a YouTuber, is make 100 videos and improve something every time. Do that. And then on your 101st video, we'll start talking, like maybe you can get some views, but your first 100 are gonna suck.
Almost every podcast I feel like you've been on, or every time you talk about YouTube, you always talk about how you reinvest everything back into the channel.
Literally everything.
And I think spending time with you here, what I noticed is that's actually not just money, it's time.
Yeah.
You also reinvest all of your time.
You gotta
or
live
just
and breathe
invest.
it.
Yeah, you invest
That's it.
all of your time into it. And I think that's something that is beneficial of being where you are, is that you have that ability. And then also, the concept of hiring is just so that you have more time to invest.
Like, you could upload one great video a year and get more views than if you uploaded 100 mediocre videos. It's like, it's very exponential. Like,
I just like to make the greatest YouTube videos possible, and that's literally all I want. So yeah, I mean, if it's not the greatest video, I just want to upload it. And so after you scrap a few videos, everyone, just kind of starts to figure it out. So I was telling him, the way I like to work is like, I like to go basically wake up, obsess over something, go to bed, wake up, obsess, go to bed, like every second of the day until I just have a mental breakdown, I burn out, and then I like take a day off or maybe a day and a half off, and I like to go right back to it. So I don't like work certain days. I just go as hard as I can, every ounce of my entire body, until I just crash. And somehow that's sustainable.
What time do you sleep?
Right now, usually around 3 a.m.
Virality is not accidental. Or sometimes it can be, of course, but
It's just not.
it can be engineered.
So many people say it's luck, and they're like, you're just lucky or this or that. But what are we up to? Probably like 1,000 videos over 10 million views. Like, we don't ever have a dud. Like, you can call it luck, but I think it can be trained.
Is collaborative amplification. Like, you're so good at that, right? Just, bro, on your walks, you do your hour walk a night, you go, I'll just scroll through my contacts and call someone, see how they're doing, pick their brain a little bit. Like,
exactly.
So much to be learned.
Yep.
And you're so good at that.
And the thing is, like, that's what's sad, is because so many like small YouTubers, they see it as like, oh, I don't like, I see this all the time. Like, a guy with 1 million subscribers will learn something new, and they'll be like, oh, I don't want to teach my friends. Like, they'll compete with me. It's like, you dumbass motherfucker. You've pulled less views in the last 3 years than like I know people have on a single video. Like, you teaching him isn't going to do anything. And so like, they're so like caught up in like not sharing things and being secretive.
But also, a lot of creators also just don't, which I didn't either for the longest time, just don't make good enough content, content that's worthy of getting 10 million views.
In the idea or the execution of the idea?
Both. I mean, like, think about how many people just make videos, they film them in under 20 minutes and they don't really put any effort into it. And my first 500 videos didn't deserve to get 1 million views. Like, there's a reason they didn't. They're terrible, you know what I mean? But at the time, I thought they did, right? And I'm in the mindset of a lot of small YouTubers where I thought those videos deserved 1 million views, and I thought the algorithm hated me. But I watch them back now, and I can tell you exactly why. The videos are just fucking horrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like the thing people undervalue the most is literally the first 10 seconds of the video. Like, I think I can quote it. I tied up an FBI agent, and I have $100,000 in this bag. Here's a knife. Good luck. And I just run away. Like, it gives you everything you need. No wasted words, short and concise, and then 10.
When friend number 1 learns something, he teaches the other 2, and friend number 3 fucks up on a video and he teaches you guys, and you're all coming up together. Whereas if you're separate, you have to fuck up every single time. So like, if you each make 100 fuck ups, you could be like 300 fuck ups deep and learning. But if you're separate, you're only 100 deep.
It's just like, if you wake up and every day you obsess over something and you live and breathe it, and that's what you think about, that's what you do, that's what you study on and off, that's what you stay up every night grinding, and no one else even gives a flying about it. It's like, you just feel like a weirdo, like an outcast. And I was also like just dumb. Back then I didn't realize, oh, well, I just need to find different people. I thought like, oh, my whole life I'll just never enjoy talking to people. And then I met other YouTubers, and then I started talking to them like 10 hours a day. And I was like, then that's when the channel really started taking off.
How often are you asking for help? Because I realize
every day.
when you open the door to me for like, hey, let's just like bounce things off. I definitely like took advantage of that, which I want. Like, I don't
Rule
ask
number
for
1
help.
is you got to give more, or give at least what you take. And if you do that, people will always teach you stuff.
Say that one more time.
You got to give at least what you take from someone. Which, in the YouTube space, is pretty easy for me, because I can just teach people anything, and then I just hope to learn one thing from them.
So after just grinding year after year, there's probably some blur between when I was 17, 18, 19, somewhere in there. It just started to get a little bit of views, you know what I mean?
So are you're just constantly asking questions?
All the time.
Really?
That's the only way you can ever stay on top, is if you're constantly learning. If you're always learning, reinvesting every dollar, and basically working 10, 12 hours a day, like, I just don't see a world where someone can compete with you.
I just remember like making videos, and I remember being like, dang, like everyone's telling me like, you're stupid, you're very awkward, like, why would you make it? There's millions of people trying. And I just remember being like, I don't know, I just like it. I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna die trying, kind of thing. 'Cause also I was a big pussy back then.
The biggest thing is is, you know, obviously a clickable thumbnail and title, interesting stuff, yada yada, but is it something that people will genuinely want to watch? And this might be a little tangent, but one thing is a lot of creators think click-through rate is just like the title and thumbnail and did they click it, but a lot of it too is did they enjoy your last video? You know what I mean? Like, as if someone watches a video of yours and they loved it, you can bet the next time you're recommended, their chance of clicking is a lot higher, you know? So it's like, is it something that can be entertaining for a long time? Is it something that if they watch this next time, you know, they see a video of mine, will they be excited? Like, I loved that last one, so I want to watch the next one. Like those two type of things. And then obviously, you know, is it just interesting and clickable?
Essentially, your title and thumbnail set expectations. And at the very beginning of the video, to minimize drop-off, you want to assure them that those expectations are being met. If you click on a video where, you know, of his, where it's like, Tether is a scam, and then at the very beginning, he starts talking about literally anything else, then you are like, oh, this is bull. This isn't what I clicked on. But if at the very start of the video, you go, Tether is a scam, and I'm going to teach you why, then it's like, okay, you match the expectations. So at the very beginning, match the expectations, and then you want to exceed them. So you want to assure people that what they clicked on is what they're getting, and then blow their mind and be like, but you're also getting even more. That's how you lower drop off, which a lot of people, sometimes it takes them like 20 seconds to really meet the expectations. And so you lose, like, that's where you're going to lose everyone. Everyone's videos start like this, and then it levels off. So you want to reduce the amount of people that click off on the audience retention graph. I hope you're popping up graphs while I'm saying this, so it's easier for people to visualize. But so then once you get it to level off, it's just how do you keep it level until the end of the video? And that's where you want to have, basically want to remove every dull moment. You probably want to find the 10 most critical people you know, make them watch the video and just roast it. You basically pay people to watch the videos on frame and then just have them record it. And I love just seeing like when they pick up their phones and when they get bored and like, you know, certain things, like if I just talk to a camera for 10 seconds without a cut, like a lot of people will just like get bored or they'll lose interest. So like having a B cam and a C cam and just, you can just talk for 10 seconds, but 3 seconds in cutting to a B cam and then a C cam, like now it's more interesting, even though it's essentially the same thing and not that crazy. But you want to have good pacing. Typically having a payoff at the end keeps them, right? Last leave circle wins 10 grand. If there is a low moment halfway through, you're going to watch to the end because you want to see who wins the 10 grand. So having a good payoff at the end.
How many hours do you work in a day?
I would say since I was 11 years old, almost every waking hour of the day, I'm thinking of YouTube in some form or capacity. I feel like it was almost like baked in my DNA. Like it just flows in my blood, the innate urge to create videos and to build a YouTube channel and build businesses. That's just what I do. And if I like try to take time off, I just get depressed and I feel like I lose my sanity.
That was the biggest problem, is I thought it was a freak of nature, because like people would tell me all you do is talk about YouTube, you're too obsessed with YouTube, like get a life. Like from 13 to like 19, I never met anyone who cared about YouTube. I was so untalkative. People thought like there was problems with me because I just wouldn't talk to anyone, because all I would do is talk about YouTube. And after a while, like you realize like no one cares. And then when I was 19 and I had like 10,000 subscribers, maybe it was like 18. And that's when I started meeting a few other YouTubers online. And I realized like, I'm not a freak. I'm just like obsessed with YouTube, and that's okay. You know, you just got to find other people that are like that.
If I spend, me and my team spend like 10 times more time than everyone else brainstorming ideas, which we probably at this point spend 100 times more time than everyone else, we spend $500,000 to $1 million a video, whereas normal people are spending like 1,000 or 10,000 is an expensive video now. And we just, you know, sometimes we're filming for 3 or 4 days, like 10 hours a day, you know, 30, 40 hours of filming plus months of setup, whereas most creators probably film for a couple hours and set up for a day. I think for us, you know, by always doing all those things, it just distinctively sets it so far apart that it's basically, in my head, it's like, why would you not watch it? You know what I mean?
But for the average person like us, you know, who don't have these exceptional personalities and, you know, backgrounds in filmmaking, just make 100 videos, improve something each time, and then talk to me on your 101st video.
How do you improve something each time?
The second one, just, I don't know, put more effort into the script. The third one, try to learn a new editing trick. The fourth one, try to figure out a way that you can have better inflections in your voice. The fifth one, try to, you know, study a new thumbnail tip and implement it. The sixth one, try to figure out a new title. There's infinite ways. That's the beauty of content creation online. There's literally infinite ways, from the coloring to the frame rate to the editing to the filming to the production to the jokes to the pacing, to every little thing can be improved, and they can never not be improved. There's literally no such thing as a perfect video.
Oh, and the thing is, like, as long as you're reinvesting everything and you're constantly innovating and adapting,
It's pretty hard to fall off if you're like putting in the effort and stuff.
Easy
like
for
that.
you to say, dude. All you do is put in the effort. You're a workhorse. And even when you're not working, like you started taking those like therapeutic late night walks.
Yeah, I call him all the time. I get like 1 out of 10 times he answers. Like you can elevate your content by being more creative, spending more money, putting in more effort. And there's like all these different things. And so like one of those just has to be going up, not all of them, each video. And if you do it that way and strategic, it's easy to constantly innovate.
You're extremely diversified.
And the type of content, yeah, exactly, because that's the thing. Like,
well, it's not even just in content, bro. Like you have so many different
businesses.
businesses.
Yes, let's talk about that shit.
Well, let's say you lose money in a video, you're like, well, Mr. Beast Burgers is popping off this week.
Yes, weirdly enough, the best thing for my mental health was giving into my innate nature to work. And the most depressed I get is when I try to restrict it and like I don't work weekends or I don't work this day. What's best for me is just to work when I feel like working and then just not work when I don't, like, and just have no constraints. Because there are just some nights where I don't want to sleep. And for whatever reason, I feel compelled to go all night and I just give into it. And I feel that's where I feel the happiest. And then, it's typically like, and when I'm really in the grind mode, it'll be like 7 or 8 days, just nonstop going. And then it's like, I'll realize like, oh, I need some recharge time, and then go fucking binge a season of anime.
Again, the thing is everyone has different priorities. If you want to make a few $100,000 a year and just, coast or whatever, like, not everyone has ambition and stuff like that. But if you really do want to be the best you can possibly be the biggest YouTuber, you should look at hiring as a way to free up your time so you can do more important things. And even then, and hyper optimize every little minute. And anything that isn't work, you should outsource to someone else so you can recharge so you can work again. You know what I mean?